altitude, do some instrument stuff. By the way, you remember we've done instrument before, right? Just once,
yep.
Was it? Okay. And did we do any compass turns or compass errors in that? I don't think we did.
No.
Okay, perfect. No. That's what we're going to focus on today.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into Vinland and do a couple of approaches in there and maybe let you try your luck at one. So.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll let you take controls, or you want?
Yep, I can take them here if that works. And then here we go. Looks like we got the trim, mixture, flaps all set, fuels on both.
I can switch your lights around here.
Yeah, that'd be good if you want to turn on strobes and landing. Lawrence traffic, Skyhawk 99 Hotel Victor is holding short 33 Alpha 1 for departure, staying in the pattern. Traffic in the area, please advise, Lawrence. Clear right, clear left. Lawrence traffic, Skyhawk 99 Hotel Victor is departing runway 33, and we'll stay in the pattern for a couple of loops, Lawrence. You know, a couple loops, couple aileron rolls, you know.
Yep.
All right, getting down the center line, looking at that windsock, I can easily tell I have a bit of a right crosswind. Also, what you bugged there. I go full power, ailerons into the wind. Rudder taxis me down the center line. As I gain airspeed, I slowly bring back pressure and get this nose off the ground. This is a soft field takeoff.
Okay.
That makes it really light on that nose gear. The airplane takes off fairly early. I pitch the airplane down to get to that ground effect, let it build extra airspeed there, and then gradually back up there. So that's just sort of demonstrating to you a soft field takeoff. It's all about being nice and light on that nose gear, keeping it from being buried into that mud.
Yeah.
And then it also allows the airplane to rotate earlier, nice and light on the mains as it's on their own. Induces that extra bit of lift. I should have done 10 degrees of flaps on that. I kind of forgot that I was doing a soft field takeoff on that one. But I'll do a touch and go and then do a soft field takeoff. So
okay.
Be a little bit better demonstration. Climb out's pretty normal from here. Nice and coordinated, 80 knots. I'm going to do my turn a little early here to get going a little quicker. Clear right, clear left, left turn. Rolling wings level, perpendicular to my runway, clear right, clear left, left turn. Keeping the climb going. See how my constant airspeed all the way through that climb?
Yep.
Burlington traffic, Cessna 68 Romeo Bravo, entering the left downwind for 36, Burlington traffic.
Alright, rolling wings level here on my downwind. Alright. Got that extra bit of altitude real quick there. There we go. 1800, leveling out. Alright, gas on both undercarriages, fixed mixtures, rich, prop is fixed, fuel pumps off, seatbelt, seatback secure. Looking outside your window there, coming up to the beam point, bringing my power back, 15, dropping in 10. Alright, so you see the 1,000 footers, those big white lines?
Yep.
We're going to pretend that that is my end of the runway there, alright?
Okay.
Or my runway threshold, right? And then the actual runway threshold today, that's just going to be open field prior to my runway threshold, all right?
Okay.
However, I'm going to approach our actual end of the runway as if it were a normal approach today. We're clear right, clear left, left turn. But I'm going to carry extra energy into it and float the airplane down the runway to get to a point where I'm nose high and slow. I gently land on those main gears and keep that nose gear off the ground as long as possible. That's a soft field landing.
Okay.
Now the reason we configure this way and we don't just approach to the normal end of the runway like that is because carrying that extra energy causes you to go down the runway quite a ways, right?
Right.
And not all soft fields are very long, right? They're actually quite short, most of them in my experience, right? So as you'll see when we go down to Vinland. You want to give yourself that glide space between your target point, which is just a point out in the open field, right? And your end of your runway to carry that energy into it here. Always full flaps on these soft fields. Gives you that extra bit of lift and the ground effect. Helps make your touchdown all the more smoother. Top of the compass on the numbers, again, this looks like a normal approach pattern here. But I'm carrying a little extra airspeed than I would, right?
Yep.
Here we go. Start my flare, flying it down. I've got some power in here. I'm about 1300 RPM. I'm going to leave it there and just land the airplane with power.
Okay.
Flying it down, flying it down. Wheels squeak on, keeping that nose off. And then, you know, one thing we don't do on grass, we don't brake.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to brake anyways, just because we're on asphalt. I don't want to use up too much runway, but, you know, grass is also more frictionless, so you slow down a little bit quicker too, so that kind of helps the fact that you don't really have to brake in grass. But we don't brake on grass because obviously it slips and slides, and it can bury the... As you put all that weight into the gears, it can bury them into the mud. So, all right, so when we taxi around on grass, something I should have mentioned before, keep the yoke all the way back in your lap here, just like such, right? And when you get ready to go for takeoff, just 10 degrees of flaps, all right? Trim set for takeoff. You know, if we had just taxied onto the grass strip, we keep taxiing, we don't stop, right? And then we just go full power. Neutralize the elevator here. Let it build some airspeed. All right, when you see that airspeed needle come alive, then you add back pressure to get that nose gear off the ground, just like that. And the airplane's going to rotate a little before its time, and you're just going to push it down into that ground effect right there. Keep it above 60 knots. And then when that happens, you just climb out that 60, 62 knots there, the VX. 200 feet above the ground, flaps come up, and just a normal climb out from there.
Yeah.
So that's a soft field landing and departure, and a better example of ground work there. I kind of spaced out that first one. I forgot that I was doing a soft field demonstration, but you get it now. So. Excellent. All right, you have the controls.
Okay, got controls.
So we'll just go ahead and depart to the south.
Alrighty.
Zulu is 4.5 miles north. Left downwind for runway 1.
Climbing to?
Good point. 3,500.
3,500?
Yep. Go ahead and call left downwind, departure south, Lawrence.
Lawrence traffic, Skyhawk 909er, Hotel Victor, left downwind, departing to the south. Lawrence.
You mentioned the runway. Left downwind 33, departing to the south. All good.
Zulu's left crosswind for runway 1. Tower traffic 05466 is Approximately 8 miles to the northwest on the BORDM Alpha will be inbound for 19 traffic. Skyline traffic, 2 off Zulu train, left base, runway 1.
Got me 5466, 3 miles northwest. On the BORDM Alpha, get me going.
Skyline traffic, 2 off Zulu train, short final, runway 1.
Alrighty, go ahead and reach down, grab those foggles. I have the controls.
Okay. Okay. Foggles are secure.
Alrighty, you have the controls.
All right, I've got them.
You have them. Alright, so we'll review a little bit of what we did before. We talked about how to scan the instruments right, the hub and spoke method, right? So
Yes.
your hub is your attitude indicator, and then all these other instruments are your spokes, right?
Yep.
And you always return to the attitude before going to another instrument, right?
Yep.
And then we talked about gyroscopic precession on your DG, and how, you know, about every 15 minutes is a good rule of thumb. Go ahead and check your compass to your DG there.
Yep.
But it's something that you can just do actively anytime. I figure anytime I change a heading, I'm going to compare my DG to my compass and just verify that they're the same.
Yeah. Okay.
And assuming I'm straight and level flight, because that's, you know, really the only time that my compass is entirely accurate.
Right.
So actually, if we looked up at it now, you would see that we're a little bit off. So let's go ahead and correct that. There we go. Let's turn back to south there.
There we go. Maybe.
Yep, it's about 200, right? Yep, there we go. And then let's turn back to south. Alrighty, so keeping those things in mind, what we talked about, the scan and all that, let's go ahead and try some turns. Now, you remember the hierarchy with those turns, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Altitude and then turn, correct? Turn and then altitude.
Well, you mean for like a turn with a change of altitude?
Yeah.
So, with just a turn, we're talking about, you know, starting the turn, repeating back the instructions, and then bugging the heading, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And no more than a standard rate turn, then roll out about 10 degrees early. So,
Okay.
give me a left turn heading 060.
Left 060.
Very good.
2,000, 2500.
transitioning to the north, Pittsburgh.
Oh, keep your turn going. Don't get distracted. Standard rate turn.
Oh, you said 060.
Yep, 060.
Yep.
There we go. Excellent.
Yeah, sorry. Thought you said 1060.
Sorry. There we go. Nice standard rate turn. Watching your altitude, keeping that scan going. It can be easy to overemphasize what I call the active instrument, right? The one that we intend to be moving. That causes us to lose track of the inactive or the standby instrument, like the altimeter in this case.
Okay.
Alrighty, go ahead and give me right turn heading 150.
Alright, right turn 150.
Skyhaven traffic, Cessna 77082 is 4 miles to the north-northeast of Skyhaven. Going to be transitioning over to the west, enter 45 to the downwind for runway 1, Skyhaven.
Give me a left turn heading 030.
Left 030.
Southwest, looking to land 36, full stops. Copy.
I'd give myself about a 10-degree lead on there, so we're just a little late on the rollout, but I'm being very nitpicky because that was altogether pretty good.
Okay.
All right, let's try to add some climbs and descents onto that. So give me a descend to maintain 3,000. Give me a right turn heading 150.
Descend and maintain 3,000. Right turn, did you say 190?
150.
150.
To the downwind for runway 1, Skyhaven.
Very good, at least 500 foot per minute. I like you. Reduced the power first, started the descent, started the turn, continued the descent. Now we're continuing to descend, continuing to turn. Heading 150, altitude 3,000, looking good. Yep, keep that descent rate nice and constant there until we get to about 50 feet above or so is when I'd start my level out process. There we go. There's our heading and altitude. I'd start that level out for the altitude just a little bit earlier.
Okay.
And remember, I think we discussed too that there are such things in the IFR world called hard floor altitudes, right? Meaning you can't go below.
Right.
Skyhaven traffic, Cessna 77082, sending a left downwind for runway 1, Skyhaven.
Not too worried about that for VFR purposes, but just something to prepare for. All right, go ahead and give me a right turn heading 250.
Right turn 250.
Copy on the traffic, Sky.
Watch your altitude, don't want to climb. Keep a standard rate turn there.
Southwest, gonna enter a long final for
Skyhaven traffic, Neil Flight 158, about a 5-mile final for runway 01, Skyhaven.
And Skyhaven traffic, Neil Flight. Cessna 7702 is on a left base for runway 1, Skyhaven.
All right, give me a left turn heading 120, climb maintain 3,500.
Climb and maintain 3,500. Left turn.
77082.
Did you say 120?
That's correct. A little bit more back pressure. Look at your airspeed now. Going for 80 knots, right?
Okay. Yep.
On the climb, at least 500 foot per minute. There we go. Keep the bank going at 10 rate. Looking good.
Miles, staff.
You see that airspeed is a really good pitch instrument, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As long as it's working correctly. Gotta keep that pitch nice and constant. We about leveled out there with altitude as we leveled out with the turn. So, want to keep the climb going as we level out.
Skyhaven traffic light.
Or I should say, keep the climb going as we roll out.
Coming in.
Level out being altitude, roll out being
We're on final.
ailerons, right?
Yeah.
Wings,
2 miles away.
bank.
I'll hold short.
All right, give me a right turn heading 240.
Right turn 240.
Descend and maintain 3,000.
And then maintain 3,000.
All right, give me a left turn heading 060. Climb, maintain 3,500.
Climb and maintain 3,500. Left turn 030.
060.
060.
But it might help for the sake of remembering to read it back the exact same way I read it to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So 060.
Oh,
Yeah. Keep your climb going all the way through, looking at that airspeed, 80 knots. A little more back pressure, 80 knots. Let's try that again. Give me a left turn heading 300, climb maintain 4,000.
climb and maintain 4,000. Left turn 300.
Very good. Back pressure. Oh, your You're adding the power just right, but also got to set the back pressure too.
Yeah, get the climb going.
Yeah, and watch standard rate turn, no more than that.
Okay.
It'll wrap it under a bank there. There we go. 10 degrees, rolling out, keeping the climb going, back pressure, back pressure. Nice. A little more back pressure there, need at least 500 foot per minute. And watch your attitude indicator. Again, you're choosing a, maybe a 5 degrees nose pitch up, that first black line there. Make that your constant, just like outside we have a VFR, we choose a point on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
Choose a point on your attitude indicator. If you can choose something on multiple instruments that should be fairly constant, then as you're scanning, you're not even, how should I say it, looking away from the information that you need, right?
Yeah.
For that particular setting. So like, your altitude's climbing correctly at the right pace, your vertical speed showing 500, your attitude indicator's pegged at the 5 degrees nose pitched up, and your airspeed's reading 80 knots. So you have 4 instruments there that are telling you basically the same thing.
Right.
Which makes it easy to keep the scan going while you're rolling out on your heading and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's going to take just a little bit more work for sure. I mean, we need to get 3 hours altogether, and so we'll definitely do another solid hour of this stuff, and then of course several, 0.5 here, 0.3 there, as we brush up for the check ride towards the end. But but that just takes practice, is all. But you seem to have the basic principle down. So that's going quite well. Any questions or concerns on that?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty, let's check our precession here and see where we're at.
Too bad.
No, not really. We're pretty close. Looks like it's slightly on the 3-3 side of 3-0 there. Yeah.
That look about right?
Yeah. Good. Okay, so it's not unlikely that you might lose a vacuum pump, right?
Yep.
And that will render your vacuum instruments, namely your attitude indicator and your heading indicator, unworkable there, right?
Yeah.
Unusable. And unless you have to rely on your compass now for your heading, right?
Yep.
In today's example, we're just focusing purely on compass turns and stuff like that, so we won't cover up your attitude indicator. We'll leave that for you, but we will cover up your heading indicator there.
Okay.
So go ahead and try to turn me to a heading of west, due west.
Okay.
Just using your compass here.
Traffic, Mule 5466 is 9 miles to the south. We are
lost the compass there for a while too.
There you go, shield your eyes a little bit. That's okay. So that was kind of weird, wasn't it? We noticed as we were going about north there, we initialized the turn. Now you initialize it the right direction, which is good. So you knew that, pointing north, that you had to make a turn to the left to go west. That's good to recognize that because the compass is mounted backwards, right? So, what's left looks right and what's right looks left, right? So that was good. But then you notice that as we started that turn from the north heading to the west heading, the compass kind of stopped and even went backwards a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we call the lead lag rule of the compass.
Right.
Because of the weight that's attached to that compass that causes it to function the way that it does, and because of the magnetic pull and all that sort of stuff in the northern hemisphere, on a northerly heading, you're going to get a bit, when rolling out on a northerly heading, you're going to get a bit of a lag, right?
Right.
And on a southerly heading, you're going to get the opposite. You're going to get a bit of a lead, right?
Right.
The way I remember that is, in the north, things are cold and frozen, right, in the northern hemisphere. And in the south, you're closer to the tropics, things are loose and melted, right? So that's kind of how I remember that ideal right there. So if we're wanting to turn from a heading of, say, west here to a heading of north, right, let's go ahead and start that turn. And we know that the compass is going to lag behind, right?
Yep.
We might roll out on a heading beyond north in order to ensure that we actually roll out on north. In other words, we might roll out on heading, say,
5 miles on the RNAV 01 inbound landing.
330 here. Let's try that. And that should be about north.
The traffic light flight Eagle.
You see that? So because it's lagging behind,
2,200 northwest.
we know that, right, from that roll, we can say, let's roll out 330, and then when the compass levels out and settles down, it swings back around. Lo and behold, we're pointing north. So you kind of see that how that lag works, right?
Yeah.
And so the opposite would be true with south. We would overshoot south, right? So the rule to fix it is UNOS, undershoot north, right?
Yep.
Overshoot south. So let's go ahead and turn to a heading of south now. It could be either left or right, your choice. And I want you to roll out on south, so just use your imagination. Where you think you need to roll out in order to be perfectly south.
Traffic 5466 is 3 miles, 01, full stop, yeah.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
So to speak. So again, if you're going from west to a south heading, you might, go to about 150, roll your wings level, and give you overshoot south, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going from east, you might roll out about 210, and it should come back the other way. So it's actually, if you're going for exactly south or exactly north, I find it's easy because they do have about, 10, 20, 30 degree lead there, which is the next whole, number that you see on the compass.
Yeah.
So that ends up working out pretty well for us there. But say we wanted to roll out on 210 instead, right, or 150. It's not going to be as extreme of a lag or lead because it's not perfect north, perfect south.
Right.
So you're going to have slight changes, slight differences. And so it makes the magnetic compass pretty unreliable, in terms of accuracy. You'll roll out, and then you may have to make several slight corrections in order to make it work. So we'll talk about here in a minute how we might amend that a little bit without use of an HSI or a heading indicator. All right, go ahead and give me a left turn to the east here and roll out on the east. So given the north-south rule, lag lead and UNOS, that's UNOS, by the way, undershoot north, overshoot south. If we're trying to roll out on an east or west heading, it should be fairly accurate, right?
Orange traffic lights.
Well,
3 miles to the east, inbound flying 1.
Maybe not quite. We'll see here. Actually, that worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
What I've noticed is, if you're going from south to an east heading, then it might, bleed a little, just a little. And if you're going from north to an east heading or east or west heading, then it might, of course, lag behind just a little, at least through the turn. But for the most part, it seems to work out pretty well if you roll out right on it there. So, okay, cool. I like how you maintain altitude perfectly this entire time. So that's it's been pretty good. So there's another rule known as ANDS, and that's accelerate north, decelerate south. So in the northern hemisphere, on an easterly or westerly heading, if we were to accelerate the airplane, so let's go ahead and go full power, it would show a slight turn.
North, right?
Yep. And let's decelerate the airplane. So just power all the way out. Climb or descent might disrupt the process there. So accelerates to the north, decelerates to the south there.
Yep, okay.
So let's try to keep it level if we can. And then add full power. Accelerate, twist is north, power all the way out. Decelerates towards the south, so you can kind of see that there. So again, another issue with this compass that's already, seeming to be kind of unreliable, right, when it comes to at least accuracy, unless you're just heading one direction for a long period of time straight and level, right?
Yep.
Okay, so to help aid the compass, right, and the errors that we experience with that, we have what are called time terms that we can rely on, right?
Yep.
So if we know for a fact that we're squared away here at east, right?
Yep.
Then we can actually time ourselves with the 2-minute turn to whatever other heading we wanted to. So if we're just going to make it easy now, let's make sure we get back to east here. Let's go ahead and correct ourselves nice and perfectly there on our heading of east. If the 2-minute turn says it takes 2 minutes to go 360 degrees. So let's try that now. So go ahead, you have a clock over here.
Okay.
All right. I think it's on the clock right now. So if I hit control, that clears it. And then if you hit control again, that'll start it.
Okay.
So go ahead and hit control, start the time. Now start your turn.
Charlie, about 8 to the west. Eastbound will be low.
Let's go ahead and roll back out again. I think what's going on here? Oh, I think we hit select rather than control.
Oh, yeah, I did.
All right.
6 miles to the east right now.
Okay, go ahead, turn.
All right, go ahead and start your time.
With control.
Yep. And then start your turn. There we go. Perfect.
Got it.
Standard rate.
Yep.
And we're going to go for 2 minutes, and we're going to see where that puts us on the compass. As far as altitude's concerned, we can go down to 3,500. That's fine.
Okay.
and the 45 runway 01 Sky Heaven traffic.
2 minutes. works pretty well, doesn't it there?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and reset that clock. And let's try just a 9-degree turn to north here. So how many seconds would that be?
By the hangar, you can send the
30, exactly. So start your time,
I'll send someone over, thank you.
start your turn. Standard rate, see what it does here. Looking for north.
8 miles to the south.
And watch your, standard rate turn there, very good.
South of the airfield should be a factor for you guys. We'll be heading over into the
This goes to show how important standard rate turns and being nice and constant is precision flying.
Inbound for flying over the field.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like it worked out pretty well for us, didn't it?
Yep.
Cool. So you get the basic principle of that.
Yep.
Now how long would it take us to go just 10 degrees then? If you do the math, it comes out to about 3 seconds, or 3 seconds is 9 degrees.
Right.
So 3.33, you know.
Okay.
So it's about 3.5 seconds if you really wanted to be precise, but 3 seconds to do about 10 degrees. So,
Okay.
you know, I myself was never really good at doing that math really quick in my head.
Yeah.
But I have some students, you know, that are just like super quick about doing that. It's like it scares me. I'm like,
Yep. That's not me.
wow, that's really impressive sort of stuff there. They're obviously really great at these time turns because of it. But because I'm kind of a moron, I can actually rely on something else, which is my track on my GPS, right?
Yep.
So in our portion of the country, at least, the difference between and it would behoove you to kind of know this for wherever you're operating out of, but the difference between magnetic north and true north is like 3 degrees, right? The variation,
Right.
which we'll talk about for the cross country for sure. But so, you know, 3 degrees is a very minute difference between magnetic north and true north. And so basically what I'm getting at here is this is based on true GPS. And
Yeah.
whereas, of course, our compass is magnetic, so. There's going to be a slight difference, but it's accurate enough for most purposes, particularly navigation purposes. If you're a VFR pilot and you lose your heading indicator, then yeah, it's easy enough to just use your GPS to navigate, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, just wanted to point that out to you.
Okay.
It's always been a nice little crutch for me over the years. But altogether, you understand the basic principles of all this good stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. Alrighty, well, I'll have the controls here if you want to go ahead and take those foggles off.
North traffic, 72 Charlie, we'll be overflying the field at 1,500. Left turn, be departing to the west. North traffic.
I can give us our HSI back then. I keep calling it an HSI. It's actually just a heading indicator. HSI is what you see in the P1000, where it takes the CDIs and mounts it on top of the heading indicator. That's an HSI. All right, just off the nose here is Vinland Valley Airport. And so I'm going to go in here and make a soft field approach and walk you through that again, and then have you do one on an actual soft field. I find it's always helpful when they're introducing these to you to actually go out and do a real one. That way it, it kind of helps you mentally picture it when we practice it out back at Lawrence.
Yeah.
So again, here's my stretch of runway here. I'm going to approach, say, maybe, that ditch right there.
Yep.
About 1,000 feet prior to the end of the runway. That'll be my approach point. And I'm going to carry that energy into it and float down to the actual end of the runway there. There.
Hey, North traffic, November 72 November Charlie, departing the pattern to the west, no factor.
10 degrees of flaps. Oh, that's clear. And Vinland Valley, Niner Hotel Victor's left base runway 34, Vinland. You should be more prepared than me than trying to plug that in last minute, if you know what I mean.
That was pretty impressive, though.
No. Rather be focusing on your landing, looking out for traffic than doing that, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you see that bit of ditch that I'm going for right there, just beyond this backyard of the second house here.
Yeah.
Top the compass on that bit of ditch there, flying it down. Full flaps at this time, and I'm carrying that little bit of extra energy there as I approach it. But the people in this yellow house just love us. Vinland Valley, Niner Hotel Victor, short and final, runway 34, Vinland. Alright, starting to fly it down. Carrying that energy into my landing here. Holding it off. Holding it off. Holding it off. Keeping the weight off that nose gear. And nothing on the brakes or anything like that. And you feel, you know, how much more frictionless this grass is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starts to slow you down. I should probably bring the power back too. That'll help.
That doesn't look good.
And that does not look good at all. One of those push-pull Cessnas there. So all the way back in my lap, as you see.
Yep.
And I just continue to taxi that way. And notice I don't want to come to a complete stop. That makes it really difficult to get it rolling again. Looks like it has a pretty good chunk out of that wing there.
Yeah.
My question is it just decoration, or is that happenstance? Flaps coming up there. Got our windsock down there. It's showing us the wind's definitely coming out of the north like it's been all day.
Yep.
Then all the way back in my lap, just like such. So I'll do this takeoff and then get up to the downwind, let you take over, and let you try one.
Okay.
They're nice when they're nice and dry, you know, you hardly notice the difference between them and asphalt, except these are obviously a little more bumpy.
Yep. Probably not very often you have a person obstacle on the runway.
No, that's actually a little concerning. Hopefully she gets off to the side a bit. I will not take off until she's clear. She looks like she's just strolling, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think she's supposed to be here.
Yeah, wouldn't think so.
That's kind of what you run into with airports like these, though, man. You gotta always be alert. Not like they have the security fence like we got back at the Lawrence Municipal, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody out here to police it.
Walk right down the runway.
Okay, 10 degrees of flaps. I don't know. I don't want to come to a stop, but I don't want to take off with her right there. Kind of see if I can't wave her off a bit. You can move over.
Nope, she's not going to
Is
pay.
she? Is she?
Not going to pay any attention to
Is
us.
she not? Okay, there we go. Here we go. Full power. Nose it down, letting it build some airspeed.
Yeah.
Get a little unnerving when you have that obstacle, you know? And that airplane, too. I don't know, I'm going to say that's maybe happenstance. That's a really, kind of a heavy airplane to land on a strip like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flaps coming up.
One of those serves as a warning for others coming through.
No multi-engine airplane on a 2,500 foot grass strip.
So where is this exactly? I'm not even sure.
Baldwin.
Baldwin,
Just
okay.
south of Lawrence here. Oh, that's right, I put you under the hood and just kind of confused
Yeah, I
you
have
there.
no idea where I'm at.
We're in Nebraska now, you know? Clear right, clear left, left turn. About the same elevation as Lawrence, so I just use 1,800 feet. And Vinland Valley, Skyhawk 99 Hotel Victor, left crosswind, runway 34, Vinland. Alrighty, if you want to go ahead and take it there.
Okay, got it.
You got it. So I'll walk you through it. Probably be on the controls with you here as we do it.
Okay.
Looking right, we're clear, left turn.
Our traffic, King Air, base to final line to the north, over.
Alright, so a beam,
Yep.
1,800. 10.
10 degrees of flaps. That ditch was a pretty good aiming point, so we'll go for that again.
Yeah, okay.
Clear right.
Clear right, clear left. Go ahead and drop 20.
Yep, I would. Start closing that throttle out just a little bit. We're clear right. And going for that ditch is our aiming zone, so we're going to be a little steep here, but that's okay, because we'll carry that energy that we want, right?
Okay.
All right, full flaps already. Always full flaps for the softs.
Yep.
Roger that. Those are traffic, King Air, base to final, land to the north.
And nose pitch down, like we're wanting to come in and land.
Land in that pool.
Hopefully not quite, yeah. Close. And, oh, great, she's back at it. Perfect. And Vinland Valley, 9 Hotel Victor, short and final, 3-4 Vinland. There we go, flying it down, looking good.
Close out throttle.
Keep that throttle in it.
Okay.
Hold it off. Hold it off. Hold it off. Take that nose off there. Now you can close it. After the wheels touch, it's good to close it.
Okay.
All the way back into your lap. Nice and light on that nose gear.
Okay.
Just hold it all the way back in your lap, just like that.
Okay.
Then here you can just lightly give it a bit of brake.
Okay.
But again, our goal is not to come to a complete stop, just to slow down enough for the turn.
Yeah.
Add some power for it. Well, that was a pretty good landing, I'd say.
Not bad. Not bad.
All about keeping that energy in it.
Yeah.
You can bring your flaps up there. Up to 10 is what we'll be taking off with. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like if it were real too, that they'd have picked it up by now, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good distance, ma'am. I didn't want to be like rude or anything. Like,
Yeah.
It's absolutely okay if she wants to walk down near it. It's
Probably not the safest call, especially
yeah,
when you're coming in on a
if you're
landing.
just right along next to the runway there. Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough for us to accidentally swerve off, you know?
Off, yeah.
If you accidentally engage one, the brakes more than the other one for some reason. I don't know, I guess aviation for me has always been like, you know, very sort of like safe-centered, you know?
Yeah.
Safety-centered, and then you go out to the boonies and you see the way people do things, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I kind of miss my Bravos, you know?
Yeah.
Not that this is like the boonies per se, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Alrighty, dude, so we'll get back towards the middle, and again, without stopping, we can just go ahead. She seems like she's well off there, so we'll go ahead and give it full throttle here, back towards the middle. Get that airspeed's coming alive, nose coming off the ground. I'm just going to rotate, pitch the nose down, down, down. Let it build that airspeed, get it above 60. There we go, VX climb out. Beautiful. Alright, then flaps up here, about 200 feet up. And normal climb out. There's that big old tower.
Yep.
That's the one we talk about on the southeast side of town. You probably see campus off the nose there.
Yep.
Now if we just go due north here and just watch out for that tower, climb up to 2,000, we'll head back into Lawrence. So you see how much of that runway we used, right?
Yeah.
I don't think think of like a fully loaded airplane on a really hot day, probably wouldn't be such a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Start getting your gears turning about those kinds of ideas, performance, right? Density, altitude, and all that kind of stuff. We'll start diving into that with the cross country that we do here.
Yeah.
Weight and balance. Alrighty, let's get our frequency back over to Lawrence and listen to the weather.
Niner Celsius, dew point 16 Celsius, altimeter 300 Niner. Remarks, density altitude 2,500. Lawrence Municipal Airport, Lawrence, Kansas. Automated weather observation 0026 Zulu. Wind 010 at 05. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 29 Celsius. Dew point 16 Celsius. Altimeter.
Looking for your Lawrence there, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. We plugged into the GPS, so that's good.
Yeah.
Another thing I would probably zoom in on
a
this.
little
That'll
bit.
help give you some situational awareness, so you see that it's up northwest of you there. And then that can also be evident by, it says a desired track, right?
Yeah.
349.
Yep.
So that'll be about 350 or so. So you turn that direction. And then start looking for your landmarks there. We see that factory that's just south of the airfield, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then the lake that we always cross over for 3-3, so should be just beyond that, right?
Yep.
You have it in sight?
I do.
Excellent. Yeah, coming from the southeast side, it's always a little different.
Yeah.
A little different than the west side tends to be fairly obvious with this campus and the smokestacks and all that.
Yep.
Diving track, flight 478, turning down.
628 Romeo Bravo, final 36, Coffee County.
So what kind of entry would be most appropriate?
Well, probably enter into the left downwind, hook out here and around.
Yep, do sort of a hook to come out to the left downwind runway 33. That would definitely be the most appropriate way to get in there. Although I would have to say a lot of people would be like, let's just go final.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you plenty of time to set up for it though. Do your pre-landing check, all that good stuff.
Lawrence traffic, Skyhawk 909er Hotel Victor is 3.5 miles to the southwest. Inbound for left downwind on 33, Lawrence.
Skyhaven, Dragon 5478, departing the pattern to the southwest, Skyhaven.
Alrighty, engine failure in flight.
Okay. Pitching for 68. We're start heading to. Lawrence traffic, Skyhawk 999 Hotel Victor is short left base for 33, simulated engine failure. Lawrence.
Very good.
Alright, I've got the runway. Go ahead and drop full.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good altogether. Just a slight side load there. I was hoping you'd catch.
Yeah.
Needed just a touch of left rudder there towards the end.
Yeah.
Back pressure on the brakes, flaps up. And Delta. Very cool.